Welcome to the rest of the news. My name is Frank Simon, and our special guest today, Corbin Seavers. Is that right?
Corbin Seavers, you got it.
The thing that triggered this program was this book. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this is Kentucky's Everyday Heroes. I'm trying to get this to all of our cameras. And Corbin was one of the everyday heroes, and that's wonderful. I think that he is an everyday hero. He's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into developing a chess club.
That's correct. Yes, it's the West Louisville Chess Club. And really, West Louisville Chess Club was founded in May 2016 and founded by the Louisville Urban League. They appointed me as the senior coach. But before that time, really dating back to September 2010, is when I went, I guess you might say, full-time as a chess coach.
Really?
Advisor and mentor, yes. And so I was all over the county teaching, still doing it. Before September 2010, I worked heavily with my daughter. That was like her private chess coach. She did fairly well before she stopped. Been doing it for a while now, well over 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, well over 10 years, easily over 10.
Tell us about the results.
It's interesting you bring that up. There are times when I say to myself, man, is this really having any type of impact on young people? Is it worth it? Financial sacrifices I've gone through for the past 10 years. It seems like whenever that thought becomes very dominant in my mind, something comes up. One quick example, I was at a chess club meeting, wasn't that long ago, and then in walks one of my former students. He had entered college, just finished his second year in college. So happy to see him, so I brought him up front and introduced everybody, and then after the meeting we talked a little bit, and he said, Coach, I've been getting your newsletters and all. I've just been real busy. And he said, but when I came home, I told them I had to come. I had to go to a chess club meeting. I had to meet Coach. That's something. And you find other students, they may not be at a West Louisville Chess Club meeting. You may not see them. But when I do other things, such as summer camps, in fact, I just finished 3 summer camps for the Diversity, Equity, and Poverty program led by Dr. John Marshall. And in those kind of situations, you'll find students who'll say, hey, you don't remember me, but I was here last year. Hey, you don't remember me. I showed up in one of your club meetings and that kind of stuff. And they'll tell you they signed up because they wanted to be in my class again. You're having some sort of impact there. Just good to hear that. I've had a couple of parents, several parents come up to me and just say flat out, I'm going to keep my son or daughter involved because it has brought them out of their shell.
Really?
More confident. Others have said flat out that it helped improve their academic skills. It can be tough at times because financially, you really don't get a whole lot doing it. Barely able to make a living. Got to make sure we always keep a part-time job, sometimes 2 part-time jobs. But it's rewarding in other ways.
We were talking on the way over here and before we came over here, and I said, Corbin is really outstanding person because he is aware of what's going on, which a lot of people aren't, and he's concerned about what's going on in the city and with people in the church and all of that. Some people aren't. Some people are just kind of floating through life. They don't really think about what the issues are in life. And the thing is, Corbin is training young people to plan ahead by learning chess. Is that right?
Yeah.
That was what Cindy said.
One of the great benefits of learning chess is, as you said, planning ahead, understanding consequences, time management.
That's important. Like I say, there are a lot of people that we can think of that are just kind of floating through life. They don't realize what I would call the cultural war. They just, well, let's have another party. That's all there is to life.
My response to that is that once you become a father, a lot of that crazy stuff will go to the wayside.
It takes time to figure all these things out.
It does, but when my daughter was born in August of 2000, my life pretty much came close to doing a 180. Because now all of a sudden I had to think about something other than myself. In fact, there's one reason why I got involved in teaching chess was because of her. When I saw the positive impact it had on her, well, why not offer this to other young people?
Well, tell me more details. What was the positive impact?
Well,
how did that work?
I call a little girl named Sarah. She's very much like her mother. Mother's very quiet and reserved. Quick example, we went to a rated tournament. All the people there were older than her. So I taught Sarah chess when she was about 6 years old. Got in her first tournament when she was 7. So she was competing against teenagers, adults, and older children. I'll never forget one time she was sitting there. She was about to engage in a match. She had a little doll with her. She had a little pigtail. She motioned for me to come sit down beside her. I said, baby, I can't do that. Tournament, I can't do that. So she did it. Now, fast forward a few years later, this kid is like, Daddy, wait, what? Let's go to this tournament I read about in Chicago. And they'll call for people to come to their first round. We may be sitting there talking after the tournament. Let's go. They'll call for the first round. She's running. Forget the old man. I'm running.
So is that right?
Yeah. Her confidence just, I saw her, she would help me teach in summer camp.
Really?
And one time she got in an argument. Kid, he said something to him about pawn promotion or something. She said, look, I've been doing this for 6 years. I know what I'm talking about. Now, if you had known my little...
What was the issue?
Yeah, pawn promotion is about a particular thing. The little boy just kept saying, no, that's not right. She was right. But what got me was that this quiet, reserved little child all of a sudden just asserted herself.
Wow.
Just gives you an example, just not arrogant, but she was confident. She became more confident and she became more assertive, no doubt about it. That also went into the academic field as well. Like in middle school, talking to her middle school teacher, and he was like, she seems to be doing okay, but we just have the sense she can do better. I said, look, put her in the higher up math class. Just go ahead and do it. And he said, well, what if she protests? I said, I don't care if she protests or not. Chances are she won't. So they did it. She didn't protest, and she did do better.
Really?
She had been in that situation. Again, in chess, the only way you get better, you have to play better people.
Wow. Okay.
And you got to take your hits so you're able to match them skill level wise. There was nothing for them. When she got to high school, I did the same thing. I said, no, take her out of this, put her in a higher up thing. She was doing some math, Don. I couldn't understand it. Stuff was written in Hebrew or something. I said,
yeah.
In English. But she went through it. She persevered through it because she had that experience. She knows, hey, if I apply myself, I can do this. And that's what chess will teach you. You can do it. It's the only way you're going to grow in chess. I guarantee you it's the only way you're going to grow.
Or in anything else.
I just did summer camp. Literally, today's the last day they're doing a graduation. 10, 12 boys in the class, in the camp. And again, what's called the 8-queen puzzle. And it's a 250-year-old puzzle. Every other minute, oh, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. We can't do this. You can't solve this. Just things like that. And I wouldn't say anything. If they said something to me, I said, you know what to do, just do it. At one point, half the class got it. They solved it. The other half didn't. I waited a day or two, gave it to them again. This time, everybody in the class solved it. Now, you would still hear every so often, this is hard, but they wouldn't quit.
Wow.
They didn't try to quit.
Now, see, that's an important lesson.
They didn't try to quit. They solved it. The whole class ended up solving it. And yes, you're right. That's a life lesson there. Yeah, it's hard. Of course it's hard. Getting to the moon is hard. We did it. Brain surgery is hard. Ask Dr. Ben Carson. Yeah, it is hard.
Now, I understand you're going to have a local regional tournament.
Yes. When the West Louisville Chess Club started with the Louisville Urban League, I had to sign a little bit of a contract, a 2-year contract. And they said, look, we'd like to see the chess club do 2 regionals and 2 nationals a year. We did our 2 regionals. We were only able to do 1 national. Went to the All Girls Chess Championship in Chicago. That was this past April. And then our regional that we definitely go to every year is the Queen City Classic, Cincinnati, Ohio. They hold that every March. At a minimum, like last year, they had like 530 plus players.
No kidding. Boy, that's a big crowd.
When I was there this past year, I've been to the Queen City Classic probably over the past 6-7 years, not just as taking the West Louisville Chess Club up there, but I had taken other students up there beforehand. And every year, I guess my name sort of got out there. And it got to the point to where the organizers, and I'd be walking through the crowd and I'd say, hey, Coach Corbin, how you doing? That kind of stuff. So then I started asking questions, start looking around. Then one day it just sort of hit me, really during a meeting we were having with the mayor of Louisville. And then also something Sadiqa Reynolds had said to me. I said, well, why don't we have a regional right here in Louisville, Kentucky? Because if you look at the map, Louisville's a great place to have it. It's well situated. Graphically, it's easy to get in, get out. We have all sorts of fantastic tourist sites here. Plugger Museum, the Ali Center, African American Heritage Museum down there in Ali, just all sorts of great stuff. Why not have a regional? I just sort of said, okay, let's do that. Threw out some feelers. I said, well, I wonder where we could hold it. I wanted to have at least 200 players. So the University of Louisville
Really?
agreed to meet with me. When I went there and sat down and talked with them, we weren't 2 minutes into the meeting before they said, so let me sort of stop you right now. We want you to have the regional here. We want you to have it here. We just need to figure out what building we're going to use. That's it. I said, oh, I thought I was there to sort of convince them. They said, no, we want it here. So it's going to be
Really?
a Belknap Academic Building, June 20, 2020. And so we're going to have it there. It's a fantastic building. It's a beautiful building, relatively new, but it's a great building. And U of L's basically said that they're going to just roll out the red carpet. Literature for the parents who come there. Of course, literature encouraged them to come to U of L. They're going to offer people who can give the parents a campus tour. They've expressed some interest to talk to a couple of our students at the West Little Chess Club. Another group has said that they're going to help us. They are going to underwrite the cost of bringing in a grandmaster. Come in and do a workshop and just take photos of the young people and that kind of stuff.
What's a grandmaster?
An international grandmaster is the highest title you can achieve in chess. And in the full title, international grandmaster, you're internationally ranked. So your competition is global.
Okay.
He's a real Super Bowl guy. The Super Bowl really is just us, just Americans, United States. The grandmaster is truly global. When you look at the numbers, it's just a handful of international grandmasters.
Well, now, what would they be doing?
At this tournament, what we'd ask them to do is a couple of workshops.
Okay.
On maybe the end game or things of that nature. And then also just walk around, take photos with the young people. Young people are into chess. They know what an international grandmaster is. It's just like a Brett Favre walking in a football camp at high school, or just like a LeBron James walking into a middle school basketball camp. They know who he is. They're going to run to him, want to take photos, want to get some autographs. And then also they're going to calm down. They're going to listen because they realize, hey, he's not just a good player. He's the best of the best of the best. I need to be quiet and listen. I'm hoping and praying it could either be Jennifer Shahada. We tried to bring in Maurice Ashley. Weren't able to get him. But I'm hoping right now it'll be Jennifer Shahada or Irina Krush. So we see that a lot of times girls don't feel very confident even trying chess. They'll have an interest, but they don't feel confident about it. We really do try to make it a point not just to recruit more girls, but to encourage them to stay in. We think having an international grandmaster as a female is like a role model. Now, locally, we have 2 certified chess coaches who are females, Sister Joanna and Sister Layla, Coach Joanna and Coach Layla. And I did an interview at WLOU Radio maybe about a week ago. I had one of our students, one of our female students with me, Haley. And Haley sort of surprised me, but Haley talked about how important it was to her that she had a female coach. I didn't realize it mattered to her. Haley was just a great player, and I was just pleased as punch that Haley's with us. But Haley talked, and she said, no, it was important that I had a female coach, that I had that kind of role model.
I want to get into this a little bit. We were talking about it's called Truth for Youth. That's what you deal with some to it.
Obviously, it's a lot of youth work.
This is different, but I'd like to give one of these away to our listeners. There are several important points about this. One is the first 100 pages are comic books, and really good comic books that deal with moral issues. And the second half is the New Testament. In here on the back, it says students have a legal right in public school to give these Bibles out to their friends. And if anybody says anything to you, Matt Stavers is one of the top attorneys in the country, would defend them for free. The other thing I think important about this is where it says Billy Graham endorsed this Bible, and so did a whole lot of other people, Pat Boone and Art Linkletter, and just a whole lot of people. There's about 20 of them in there. It's really good, and the idea is we'll give this to you, and you take this and look it over and see if you like it. And if you do, you give it to your child or your grandchild or your neighbor or just anybody that understands what's important in life. Did I say that right? And then the idea is we'll get them more, dozen or whatever you want, and you give these out to all your friends in the high school and start a Bible club. Now, when they took prayer out of the public school, Khrushchev says, well, we're going to destroy America by taking prayer out of the public schools. He didn't really say it like that, but that's kind of what it boils down to. He did. The whole drug epidemic and academic achievement crashed, and everything happened when they took God out of our schools. So we think it's important to get God back in the schools, and we feel this is a good way to do it. If you would like one of these Bibles, we'll send it to you for free. Just call that number 893-2444. We can get it out to you right away, and it's free. If you like it and you give it to some other children, then we'll get enough for everyone, their friends and everything. We'll get you a dozen. There have been over 2.5 million copies of this given out. We've given out 300 copies, 400 copies. Is that right? Okay, thank you. I think this is earth-shattering, the way it can be. And like I say, people read these comic books and they say, well, I'd like to have a Bible study about that. Boom, we'll get you the Bibles and you can have it. I think it's really important. Corbin, we really appreciate you being on the program, and we appreciate your work, and you're doing a good work. It's important what you're doing. I think what you're doing, in my mind, is part of the cultural war.
I don't know how much time we have left. About 5 minutes. One thing I wanted to say, and I appreciate you, deeply appreciate you promoting this book, Kentucky's Everyday Hero by Steve. I hope I'm pronouncing the guy's last name correctly, Flaherty. It's a great book. Please buy it.
Yeah.
The title, Kentucky's Everyday Heroes. Our young people's everyday heroes are really mom and dad.
That's good.
They talked about how excited they were that the mother and father were at the tournament. They tell me how bothered they might be about something at home because the parents are arguing. Mom and dad mean the world. For young people, mom and dad means the world to them. And always bear that in mind. Just keep that up in front. I don't care if you're separated from the spouse or divorced, or if maybe it's just you weren't married to the person when you had the child. Mom and dad is important to that child. And I would say also to parents, look, it's up to you to impart your faith to your children. Don't just let that happen by default, because I guarantee you somebody else will step in there and they will fill that vacuum. I've seen it time and time again. Someone else will step up and they will fill that vacuum. Someone else will step up, and if you're not talking to them about sex or money or faith, I guarantee you somebody else will step up there and fill that vacuum. Wow. So parents, if there's something in the school system or just public in general you don't like it, you need to make sure that you're stepping up, passing on your faith, your values to your children. You have to be conscious about it, deliberate about it. You have to be. During that time when my daughter and I were very close with chess, but it wasn't just chess, it was other things as well. I taught her about the Torah, had her do workbooks on the Torah, 5 books of Moses, first 5 books of the Bible. We talked about it. When she was living with her mother up in northern Kentucky, we would actually do Bible lessons over the phone. One time took her to a synagogue, made sure as often as possible, took her to church at Southeast. You have to be deliberate about passing that faith on. You have to be deliberate about talking about the faith. You have to be deliberate about all these things. This book here you just brought up, don't just sort of say to yourself as a parent, as mom or daddy, well, I'll just give them this to be okay. No, you give them this as a tool to talk about faith, to talk about things, to talk about maybe even some of your personal experience. I told my sister what? It was your grandfather who taught me. He had heart trouble, and it bothered him because he was a starting guard in his college. So dad was into sports, but over time he developed heart trouble. So he couldn't go out there and teach me how to play basketball. He was really into baseball. He was crazy about baseball. He loved Cincinnati Reds. He was a nut about Cincinnati Reds. He couldn't go out there and pass the ball around because he would have a heart attack, right? So what he was able to do was he sat down and taught me chess. He was able to do that.
Praise God.
And very odd at the time when he was teaching me, I never thought I wanted to become a chess coach. That's what That's what happened, yeah. And before he died, my father said, I'm going to take you to a Cincinnati Reds game, but he died before that happened. So I made it a conscious, I said, baby, I want to take you to a Louisville Bats game. And I procrastinated for a little bit. I had some heart trouble myself. And then I said, I don't want to happen, to share what happened to me. So I said, come on, kid, we're going to a Louisville Bats game. I was surprised that she sort of got into it. It was fascinating. But the point I'm trying to make, though, is that mom and dad, be deliberate. Be deliberate about passing things on to your children. I guarantee you, I've been doing this for a long time. I've seen it. Somebody else will step in that vacuum. They will. I don't want to get political here, but some of the stuff I've been hearing, some of the stuff I've seen, got nothing to do with politics as far as I'm concerned. It's crazy. There's no way that Corbin Seavers, as chess coach, would be saying some of the things I've seen some people teach the kids. There's no way. There's no way. I guess it's because in the back of my mind, I just imagine if my father heard some of this stuff, oh no, boy. You have trouble. You have some issues. Yeah. He's part of the PTA. I didn't know that. So my sister told me. I said, you kidding me? He's part of the CEF for him. It was weird. White people there. Daddy was the only black guy there. He's up there in the PTA meeting. But that was his philosophy. Hey, I'm an active parent. Yeah, I got heart trouble, but I'm an active parent. I say that to all parents. Boy, you better be active. You got to be involved. You got to go in there.
That's right. Amen. Now, I just want to make one other comment here. On August 24th, Marriott East Hotel at 6 p.m., there's going to be a meeting with the activist mommy. Now, I've seen videos of her, and she reminds me a little bit of Phyllis Schlafly. But anyway, she is one activist mommy. She had 10 children, all her own. So she homeschooled all of them, all 10 children. Can you imagine that? A miracle. Well, she's coming to speak at the Kentuckians for Life banquet, August 24th at 6 p.m. at the Marriott East. Marty Fox, plastic surgeon, he's going to be the MC, and Elizabeth Johnson is the activist mommy. So we'd like you to come and mention one more time the Truth for You, an earth-changing book and an American-changing book. Get it right now, Truth for You. Call for a free copy right now, 893-2444. God bless you. Thank you, Corbin, for being with us. That was really, really good. Tune in again next week for the rest of the news.